How you guys doing? God bless everybody here that's blessed to hear this today. Uh, my verse comes from James chapter 1 verses 5 through 8. I'm reading the New International Version that says, if any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. But when you ask, you must believe and have no doubt, because the one who doubts is like a wave of the sea blowing and tossed by the wind. That person should not expect to receive anything from the Lord. Such a person is double minded and unstable in all they do. To understand all this, right? To me, I have to always take it back to the second verse, right? Which says, count it all joy, my brothers, when you meet trials of various kind, right? So right from the start, James is pretty much teaching us and letting us know that we will first face trials of very different kinds. We all go through different experiences in life, but the thing that really holds it all together to me in this few verses between 5 and 8 is that when you ask, you must believe and have no doubt. And it's so very difficult for individuals like us nowadays, right, to just not have any doubt. We are let down so much in life. We think we know it all at times, and can nobody tell us what to do, because we always think that can nobody have a better interest or best interest than we can ourselves, right? And this actually brings me to a personal moment in my life that I hold very close to my heart, because it was during these times that I actually got to meet God, right? This is the reason that I am here sharing this video with you guys. It is because of this. Several years ago, I went through a very tough separation in my marriage. Like many of us, I believe that, everything was perfect, that everything was fine, that I was this perfect individual, and things like that. But yet, I was hearing from God through various avenues, right? I have close friend of mine who was trying to give me constructive criticism in regards to, to what was going on in my life, and, the things that they were seeing in my marriage and things. And as a very prideful individual, I completely blew it off, but you don't know what you're talking about. My marriage is perfect. She ain't going nowhere and things like that. But then also at the same time, I remember having a prayer asking God to draw me really, to draw me close to Him, because I was starting to see things very differently at the same time. And, I asked him, God, just do whatever you have to do to be able uh, to make me fall in love with you, right? Little did I know that not even a year later, I was going to go through a separation in my marriage. This separation took me into very dark times, as a lot of separation most likely do, right? But it was during these times that God had already orchestrated everything. I knew about God, I didn't know God, right? That was the reason why I was asking God in those prayers. And I remember a couple of days prior to the separation really taking place, and I must say it caught me by surprise, right? Because I thought, like I said earlier, I thought I knew it all, right? God brought a person into my life that I had lost touch and contact with that person for a little bit over a year. And out of the blues, like literally out of the blues, we just made contact, and it felt like we have just never separated. But this brother was a person that was going to be the one that was going to start planting those seeds in my life and keep me focused and guide me. And he is one that is truly in love with God Himself. Well, my separation definitely took place. I'm in a whole different state, in a whole different city. We're talking about, 20-hour drive from where I'm originally from, right? I made this move and this everything for my family, not even a year prior. And, my separation took place. And the first thing that, that came to mind was desperation, right? And when we're desperate and we feel we can no longer handle the situation, we start going to God. So I started praying and like everybody else, begging and asking. I do this and I do that. But the only thing that I lacked was faith, right? I knew that I was asking God. I knew that God will answer prayers. But then in the back of my mind is, will He? Because of who I am and who I was, right? And the beautiful thing that James also, teaches us is that God gives wisdom generously to all without finding faults, right? And I was asking God, what can I do? What should I do, right? But in the back of my mind, the biggest thing that I was in my mind was that, well, who am I? Right? Why am I even worth God to even answer my prayers? I never go to Him, and I knew about Him, but I was a sinful person. I'm not worthy of, and things like that. Not knowing that God doesn't even look at that, right? God has everything planned. God has everything worked out. And throughout this time, this person will just continue to guide me and keep me focused, because as a person that's lost, that's hurt, that is very desperate, I was trying to do anything. If somebody would tell me to jump in one leg in circles, I was doing it, right? I was trying to do things in my own hands. And a year went by and I continued to do things in my hand. And another year went by. Now we're 2 years later. I'm still trying to get this relationship with God. But through this whole time, as I'm growing to know who God is, I always get doubt in my heart, right? Because while I'm getting to know who God is, the thing that I kept me was that I didn't open up my heart to Him, which is very, very important. And, it wasn't until like 3 years later that I finally made a bold prayer and I said, God, you know it all. I need to trust you. My relationship with you has finally starting to grow. I'm starting not to only, get to know you on a personal level, finally starting to fall in love with you, right? And there is no one in this world that can feel that love, right? That void, but only you. So that's when I personally was just telling God, you know what, God, I'm gonna finally, at this point, I'm gonna trust anything. Whatever happened, happened. If it's meant for me to get back with my family, it's going to be because that's your will. If it's not, I understand that you be the one, Lord, that is going to feel that pain and that hurt that I've been carrying for the last 3.5 years. I remember very scared, right? Making that, but at the same time, finally trusting God. It was just something that is just unexplainable that I finally was able to say, you know what, I'm going to trust Him no matter what. Well, the next day, I actually get a call from my wife, and she was telling me how for the last couple of years, God has been like talking to her and talking to her to get back, to fix her family, to get back where she needed to be. But she herself was being a little rebellious, right? And, so that comes to show me that just because we don't see it doesn't mean that it's not happening, right? I went through stress. I lost a massive amount of weight. I was just not in the right place, right? And this is what Jane talks about in this passage when he said that us, when we doubt, we're like, the wave of the sea being blown and tossed by the wind, right? Because we are going everywhere. We don't sleep, we don't eat, we're stressed out. It affects us, in a personal life, in our work, in various places, But one thing that I've learned, that problems will come. But if we fully trust God, allow all the circumstances to be handled by Him, He does come true. But it's not until you truly have faith in Him, right? And to close this out, right, it does remind me on when Jesus, every single time Jesus healed somebody, right? He never said, I healed you, or it was me, or it was that, right? He always says, your faith has healed you. And it was the same faith in God that healed my marriage. God bless you guys. I hope that this helps somebody. Can't wait to see what, a couple of more weeks have to for us. God bless you.